y'all niggas.
She's like 100 pounds.
Weirdo.
There's usually
And
N-word.
it's 100 pounds hands are registered. I drop bitches and knock that whole teeth out. So what's good? What's good? What's good? Come on.
Is it like
My
trailer
hands are
bitches that do
registered.
a lot of meth that don't have teeth in general?
How do you feel about the ICE raids?
The who?
ICE raids,
Like
immigration.
I feel good about them.
Yeah, you want to crack down?
More, yes.
You do?
Yes, been wanting for years, all my life.
And what about them like roughing people up?
Nah, that shit crazy. Don't put your hands on nobody. That's crazy. Don't hurt nobody. Do it the legal way.
But that's what they're doing, though.
That shit ugly. Then no, I don't feel great about that. I mean, don't hurt nobody. At the same time, get them out of here. Get them all out of here. Please and thank you. Trump 4 more years.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground. I've been Donald Trump. Thank you and good night.
Ooh. Yeah. Looks like we've got some of these people on the run. It's pretty wild. So we've got the leader of the Antifa movement, who's a rich white dude, by the way, has now fled the country, moved off to Europe, went to go live with Ellen DeGeneres. Says he's going to probably transition back and forth from Ellen DeGeneres to Rosie O'Donnell. See what's up with that. It's no joke. I said, in my opinion, I'm like, what are you worried about? We got Pam Bondi. You're fine. You're going to be okay. Don't worry. Just ride it out. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to. You got Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche. I think you're going to be okay. And this world right now is looking between these two characters who got, Pam Bondi makes a big, huge. We found all of this bad shit going on. What are you going to do about it? I've got it on my desk. And we're going to write a strongly worded letter about this. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Right now, as we speak, that there's another prosecutor who will not charge Letitia James for her mortgage fraud, albeit it's an open and shut case. And there's a lot of evidence that has not been released, so it doesn't taint the jury pool. But they've got some serious stuff going against Letitia James, and nobody will step up. This is what I'm, that's a whole other video, but that is a real deal thing. I've read that. I was like, oh my God, because somebody supposedly got fired because they wouldn't charge her. And now you've got this other person that stepped up and that person won't charge her. And so you're just, what we're looking at is just a slow walk. But anyways, I'll dig into the whole the senior dude that's talking about this here. So Antifa terrorist, this author, organizer, and financier, Mark Bray, frees himself to flee U.S. to Europe. So this guy's posted on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is the safe space, the safe cry space for lefties now, because X and anywhere else they go, they get trolled tremendously. And so they do have X accounts, but they kind of just really like to stay on Blue Sky. Nice little echo chamber for them to hang out. But Mark Bray, a financier of International Antifa, which that's a real thing, by the way, in case you don't know this and you're just tuning in and learning about our situations going on in America. Antifa doesn't just exist in America. It's an international organization that's laid the groundwork for all kind of extremely awful things to happen so that they could move in and usher in really awful policy to fix it. The people who create these problems also create the fix, which is typically more and more surveillance and less freedom. And so there's your thing. All this organic uprising, I guess you would call it. But the author of the Antifa Handbook has announced he is fleeing Europe, and he's believed to be in Spain. The announcement follows the U.S. government declaring Antifa domestic terrorists in the intelligence community. I'll kind of get into this just a little bit more, and I'll show you what the guy even posts. I was like, oh my gosh. So without evidence. Bray says the reason is because of death threats and doxing. Bray is one of the major financiers of the International Antifa Defense Fund, which also announced that it was shutting down due to relocate its operations abroad in an attempt to escape the U.S. prosecution. It has nothing to do with the fact that, and a lot of the Antifa stuff is actually funded by the taxpayers. So what they do is a lot of these organizations start 501c3s for like book reading for kids. Certain kind of books to read, move their money from one place to another, and as that money is skimmed, it's then brought downstream to do all kind of crazy. Who paid for those piles of bricks? Who pays for the trucks? Who pays for the fireworks? Who pays for the face mask? Who pays for the bail? Other than Kamala Harris, which her money for that comes from a weird thing too. But and you got to admit, and when you think about how this all played out, the U.S. aid plays a role in this somehow or another. But so the violent extremist advocate is an assistant teaching professor. He previously taught at Dartmouth and then earned a rare rebuke for his advocacy of Antifa political violence thingy. And Antifa believe in maiming and unaliving targets branded as fascists to further their terrorist cause. Now look at this. Let me show you this. I want to move over here. We're all over the place. All right, so here's the dude right here. It says, update on semester. Hi, everyone in terrorism. This is by Mark Bray. Hi, everyone in terrorism. Unfortunately, my situation has gotten worse. Recently, this weekend, shortly after some negative media and social media attention, some of which, ironically enough, accused me of being a terrorist. Hello, everyone. Terrorism. Okay, all right. I received another death threat and a separate threat that included my home address. The university and the authorities have been notified. Since my family and I do not feel safe in our home. By the way, these BLM and Antifa and these other people advocate for not having families, don't have kids, scoop all your youngins out, throw them in the trash. Liberal body, my choice rights. These people are having families. These people are getting married. They're having children, but they don't want you to. Think about that. Remember that now. Truly, I am bummed out not being able to spend time with you. All in the classroom. I really enjoyed our conversations. What does this mean for you? There will be, unfortunately, no more in-person sessions this semester. Tomorrow and Thursday, class will be held at a regular hour over Zoom, which will then be certain groups will be put in a situation where they're giving codes and they'll isolate themselves. And this will be the underground movement. There's a large underground movement that people don't even know about. That's almost nationwide with all these Antifa and terrorist groups that are meeting on these Discord and Zoom chats that are all like highly secured through passwords and only notified through a certain leg of this organization. So you have to be in the know to get these. You just can't. There's a reason for that, because even there's a lady that I watched that talks about this. She gives classes on how to decode. They have a whole new language that they use so that they can speak without actually saying anything to alarm anybody. So they give, if they give a public address, kind of like Nancy Pelosi when she talks about flowers and grass and bird feeders and waterfalls and all this stuff, which makes absolutely no sense to anybody watching this other than sound like she's just a bumbling drunk. She's speaking in a thing called double speak, using words that don't mean what you think they mean so that they can get a message across through a mainstream venue, and the people who are in the know understand exactly what they're saying, so that and then plus when they take these words into court, they could say, well, this is what I said. Yeah, I said that. It had nothing to do with what you think it did, but they have to be under the know-how that this is actually a code speak. See, gangs do the same thing, by the way. They have a whole new code. If you ever know anything about the Bloods and the Crips and all the internal writings and memos that go through just your grassroots gang activity, they can say a whole speech and it sound like they're talking about something completely different when they're actually speaking to a certain and this goes by rank too. To understand more about what they're saying, you go up in rank and these words have more and more meaning. Just a little FYI. And they're using this tactic to move themselves underground so that they can facilitate their violence. But anyways, reading more into this. The quiz on Thursday is canceled. Your next assignment is a midterm essay. I will come up with different take-home assignments to replace the two quizzes. And after this week, the class will become synchro something. I got a little spot over. I can't see it. I.e., I will record the lecture, post them online, and you will watch them whenever it is convenient. And I'll give you your A no matter what, because this is how DEI works. But this is because I just added that a little bit. This is because where I will be living is 6 hours ahead, and I have 2 small children, so I can't meet with you in the evening. And dude is blaming like Turning Point USA, which is now going to be hijacked by a whole Israel movement. That means that they're going to double down on their rhetoric. Stick around. I'm going to play you a segment of Bibi Netanyahu explaining to you their next move when it comes to hijacking media organizations to force a narrative down your throat so that they can keep the Americans' allegiance. Just stick around for a second, and I'll show you. And matter of fact, let's do that right now. Bazonkers. This needs to be seen by everybody. Share this out.
One thing I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, she's my first mentor in this space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Christian influencers. Okay, you said you talked about the woke right, and you said I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke right, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're movies, but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money of NGOs, vast, money of governments, vaster. Okay. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X.
See that?
Very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
That's pretty alarming. That is very, very, very much alarming. And the fact that he's, what he's saying is, and I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but if we're not careful, what he's using Trump for is the fact that he understands there's going to be a large TikTok purchase. He's going to pressure the Trump administration to apply a lot of censorship to anybody that speaks out against anything that's corrupt. And in these peace talks that are going on between trying to get Israel and trying to get Iranian people to quit doing what they're doing, every time there's an agreement made, then Israel just doubles down and starts doing more and more bombing. And Trump's like, would you please stop? But then nothing happens. Trump doesn't do anything. Why? And another thing too, if you look into what's his name? That BB guy, Boobs Netanyahu. His wife is a raging alcoholic and an asshole. If you look into his wife, she is I wouldn't be surprised if that's who's running boobs. No joke. Like, there's a whole presentation given by Ian Carroll. It's an hour-long segment talking about the ins and outs of how Israel became Israel through the organized crime. And believe it or not, it ties all the way back to Prohibition back in the 20s. Because that Israel that we know now is only about 80 years old. God's country is way older than that. But that Israel government is just this thing, and so we're caught in this like mosh pit of craziness. But when it's all said and done with, there's always a good man has always got a good woman behind him, and an asshole man has always got an asshole woman. And when you look into who his wife is and what she's up to and how many bottles of wine she drinks through the day, would highly explain as to why their fetal alcohol syndrome child, who boobs Netanyahu, is going to try his best to put in place of him for the dictatorship. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and have a good one. We out.